Books or a Kindle? If you're into reading, you've probably seen this raging war between physical book lovers and Kindle diehards. They can be found everywhere, from Reddit forums to Facebook group and Instagram pages. And although their discussions can be amusing, it's pretty hard to decide which one is actually better. Hello you all, this is Juan Cruz from Innerrise. Welcome to the 8th class of the reading course, where you'll learn everything that you need to know about, well, reading. In this video, we'll explore the differences and pros and cons of Kindles versus books. To organize our comparison, I'll analyze them on 5 criteria: cost, practicality, feeling, note-taking, and durability. And at the end of the video, we'll decide which one is the ultimate winner. So without further ado, let's get going. The first thing we'll look at is cost. If you're like me, you care a lot about money and reducing unnecessary expenses as much as possible. So of course you'll want to choose the cheapest option. Unfortunately, the answer is not quite straightforward. If we do a quick Amazon search, the cheapest Kindle is around 80 to 90 bucks, plus the books you want to read. On the other hand, the average physical book costs around $15. At a first glance, it might seem like an obvious choice, right? Well, as I said before, it's not that simple. First of all, digital books tend to be cheaper than physical ones. It makes sense because they are way cheaper to produce. Maybe the difference is just a few dollars, but as you buy more and more books, this $2 or $3 become $20, $200, or even more. Also, there are many classics in philosophy and literature like Kant's Critique of Pure Reason, Walden by Henry David Thoreau, or Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy that are almost free. So if you're into this type of books, you'll save a lot of money. So to sum it up, Kindles require a higher investment up front, but if you read a lot and buy dozens of books per year, in the end you'll get the money back. Also, if you enjoy the classics, with a Kindle you'll be able to get them for almost free. On the other hand, if you read a couple of books per year, you might be better off just buying the physical book. Awesome, let's move on to... Let me tell you a quick story to illustrate this point. When I was 21, I moved to San Francisco, California, and I carried with me around 20 books, which was not bad, but this didn't last much longer. That year, I read a book a week religiously. I remember that on Sundays, I grabbed a new book, divided the pages by 7, and read that number of pages every single day. The following Sunday, I did the same. And I repeated this process for 52 consecutive weeks. So what ended up happening? The following year, I moved to a new apartment, and this time I wasn't carrying 20 books but 70. That's almost an entire travel bag and a possible back pain. That was the moment I decided to buy a Kindle, and it changed my life. Well, kind of. I travel quite a lot and I like to have the books I've read handy. Nowadays it would be almost impossible for me to bring 300 books every time, but with my Kindle, everything is right there. Also, if you're from a country that's not the US or Europe, sometimes finding the physical book you're looking for is very difficult. And I can tell from experience living in Argentina. The only way I could get my hands on the books I wanted was to tell my parents to buy them when they traveled to the US. But with digital books, there's no such problem. You order it and it's in your Kindle in a matter of seconds, no matter if you live in Argentina, Zimbabwe, or China. Of course, not everything is colors and butterflies. You need to charge it every now and then, and you need Wi-Fi to download the books, but in my opinion, it's not that annoying, and I think that the pros outweigh the cons. Well, this is perhaps the most controversial point of all. Many books lovers say that reading from an actual physical book has a magic that Kindles don't provide. And hey, I completely agree. There's something special about paper pages, the weight, the smell, the feeling of your hands moving through the book that cannot be replaced by something plastic and electronic. Also, a sort of pride emerges when you stack one book on top of another and little by little build your own library that with Kindles is impossible. So yeah, if someone knows how Kindles can win this one, let me know down in the comments and I'll pin it. As you probably know or guessed, I mostly read non-fiction books, and an important part of this process is note-taking. Note-taking is a great technique that facilitates comprehension, and when you reread them, it makes it easier to go straight for the juicy parts of the book. If you're a bit like me, you cannot stand people that highlight without a ruler. The lines that the highlighter makes without one are horrible and makes me want to quit reading entirely. But highlighting with a ruler and a marker, especially with long books, can get complicated. The weight of the pages makes it difficult to keep the ruler still, and a hard, flat surface is almost a necessity. With Kindles, on the other hand, it's just a matter of dragging your finger from one point to the next one. You don't need rulers, highlighters, or flat surfaces. You can highlight while you're in bed or even walking. Also, with Kindles, you can export your notes and save them on your note-taking app, which is very convenient and eliminates a lot of work, since with books, you have no other alternative than writing the summary down. But it's a different story when we talk about taking notes. In physical books, you just grab a pen or pencil and write your idea down next to the paragraph. With Kindles, you have to type the note down, which is pretty annoying to be honest. And it doesn't look as good or as accessible. So overall, and in my opinion, Kindles are the winner. The fact that you can import your notes is pretty cool, and I use this feature a lot. If you want to learn how, you can click on this video. And finally, the last point we'll explore is... I feel this is a subjective topic because it all depends on how well you take care of your stuff. Books being physical tend to last for a longer time, but it's also true that they can be damaged easily. Also, I noticed that with time, my highlights tend to disappear, which is pretty annoying. Kindles, being electronic, tend to last less and will become obsolete after a decade or so. The good thing though is that since your books and highlights live in the cloud, you can buy another one without losing anything. I bought my refurbished Kindle in 2016 and it still works amazingly. The battery life is incredible and I never had a single problem with it. So what's better, physical books or Kindles? And you already know what I'm gonna say. None. It all depends on your needs, life situation, taste and preferences. If you travel a lot or you are a note-taking addict like me, a Kindle might be the best choice. But if you truly enjoy holding a physical book in your hands and love to see your library grow, you know the answer. Thank you very much for watching till the end. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up so the YouTube algorithm recommends it to more and more people, share it with a friend who might find this information useful, and let me know what you prefer down in the comments. I'd love to see your response. And if you haven't, check my reading course, a video series with tips and techniques to make the most out of this beautiful thing that's learning and reading. Again, thank you very much for watching and see you soon.